Hello everybody. Hey, we're back with a Borderlands 2 video, and we're going to be going over Melee 0 on the vanilla game. So, let's go ahead and get into the gear. First, we have got the Grog nozzle with the bladed attachment. This is our form of sustain. It's pretty much needed. You're going to have trouble with survivability out of Grog on Melee 0. It's really hard to do it without it. So, yeah, definitely going to want this. If you're not on PC, you don't have access to Gibbed, every time you save and quit, your grog nozzle will reset. You need to do that until you get a bladed one. Or you can try using a bladed ruby, but the healing disparity is quite drastic because the grog is about a 65% and the ruby is about a 12.5%, which is obviously substantial. So yeah, keep that in mind. Next, we have the rapier, just the highest melee damage weapon in the game. It's what allows us to do great burst damage while we are in deception. Pretty self-explanatory, really strong for getting those good burst kills. Next, these are kind of optional. They're just what I like. The interface is just a good shotgun. You can have some good interaction with bore on certain enemies. It's just very solid. Whatever you guys want to use, though. I'm running through Southpaw Steam and Power, so it's not exactly fantastic here. You could maybe run like something generic, Herald, Pimpernel. It really doesn't matter too much what you do here. Maybe I'll just throw on the Herald, but if you're in a corrosive area or whatever element your interfacer is, it's a great weapon. And then the Norfleet. I like the PPFG as well, especially with velocity. It really helps increase that bullet speed of the PPFG. It's actually quite accurate with it, so maybe I'll showcase that. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of up to you guys. Really, these are the two key things, and then just you need a good rocket launcher for a fight for your life, or for dealing with enemies that are hard to deal with as a melee character, like surveyors, for example, are a good one. Next, I'm using the Love Thumper. Now, I just wanted to test this and show this because, first of all, the Love Thumper is like 10 times easier to acquire than the Hide of Terramorphous. It's just from that quest where you kill Henry the Stalker. I can't remember the name right now, but it's from that quest, and it's a high Roid damage shield, super high recharge delay, so you don't really have to worry about stripping your shield like you do with the Hide of Terra, and that is the alternative. Of course, this is what I use in the Digistruct Peak, and this is frankly what I would use all the time. But I just wanted to show the Love Thumper to those of you that don't like the Hide of Terra because of its super small recharge delay, or you just can't farm it because it's ridiculously hard to legitimately acquire a perfect Hide of Terra, if not nearly impossible. So yeah, we're going to be using the Love Thumper, perfectly fine alternative. But for the peak, I would recommend a Hide of Terra. And some tips for the Hide of Terra. The general gameplay loop for a Hide of Terra is you want an OP10 one, obviously, all Maliwan parts with grounded, so you don't apply the shock damage over time. The idea is to sometime first you go into Deception and throw Kunai, or you can go into Deception, strip your shield and throw Kunai because Kunai benefits from Roid damage. And that's really only necessary on super tanky targets, though. If it's if it's a little marauder, like you don't really need to strip your shield and throw kunai, because what I'm if you do that, if you strip your shield and throw kunai, you're gonna have to throw another chain lightning to keep the shield down. So you really only want to do it on those super bad enemies because it costs you 2 grenades instead of 1. So yeah, Hide of Terra, premier option, highest melee damage. It's the best one you can get, but the Love Thumper is much more accessible and still solid. Legendary Ninja, self-explanatory. Melee damage and buffs some really good skills, which we'll get to. Chain Lightning to synergize with the Grog Nozzle. Mine is an OP7 one because the OP10 made Melee 0 a little bit different. It changed some things, and essentially, if you use anything higher than an OP7 Chain Lightning, furthermore, actually, let me clarify. You should get the Chain Lightning with the lowest damage possible. And what this allows you to do with the Hide of Terra, in conjunction with Iron Hand, which gives you max health, and no badass rank, what that allows you to do is throw 2 chain lightnings at yourself without killing yourself. And this is actually incredibly important for keeping your execution chains going. And like I said, if you want to strip your shield and throw kunai first, you have to throw another grenade at yourself, and that's only possible if you do OP7 chain lightning, Iron Hand for the max health, and no badass rank. Very, very important if you're going to be using the Hide of Terra. And I have another Melee Zero Digistruct Peak run coming in here pretty soon, and you will see me do that a lot, and it really helps. So yeah, keep that in mind. Then Shockbone of the Ancients to make sure we strip our shield, and it's just a pretty good relic with the cooldown rate. But yeah, it's primarily so we can strip our shield properly. So yeah, that's pretty much the gear. We'll briefly go over the skills and then just kind of get into the gameplay. I think we won't go into a crazy amount of detail. Most of them I think are very self-explanatory. Counter-Strike is great. There are times when this will come in handy, especially if when you're out of deception and you're getting hit, and just if you're trading hits with enemies, then you might have a chance to just do a huge amount of bonus damage. Really good. Ambush is awesome. Attacking from behind or when targeting something else, which could be your deception clone. 40% bonus damage with the Ninja Comm. This also applies to grenades. So yeah, really good skill. Deathmark is awesome. 80% additional damage from all sources when you apply a melee attack or if you apply kunai. So it can be really good actually to apply kunai to multiple targets to get that deathmark on them and then kind of go for that chain. And then yes, here's kunai, which is incredibly important for Melee Zero. Does get bonuses from Roid damage, applies Deathmark, does elemental damage. When you're first learning Melee Zero, be really careful with kunai. Do not throw it and then immediately go in for a dash. You're going to kill yourself. You need to wait. So Zero has some very particular timings, so be wary of that and try not to kill yourself with kunai. You're probably going to do it when you first start out, but you'll kind of get used to the timing of how long it takes for it to explode. I'm not going to go over all the skills. I'm just kind of covering the important ones. Iron Hand, like I mentioned, very important that you get this max health if you're using the Hide of Terra. That's really all there is to say. Huge melee damage bonus here. This really helps us take out very beefy targets. Follow through is awesome. Movement speed, gun damage, melee damage, really good. Executes, just so nice for mobility. I would recommend this even on a Sniper Zero build because you can get around the map so much quicker, and you don't have to hit them with the melee. You can just use it to get closer or reposition. Awesome. Backstab in conjunction with ambush. That's 120% bonus damage. Actually, I don't know if these are additive or multiplicative with each other, so it could be more or less. So, yeah. And then Resurgence, you could maybe just dip 1 point into this. Like, I don't find this to be, like, necessary by any means, but I still think it's good. And honestly, there's not a lot of other great options. Like, Grim is terrible with the Melee Zero build because you don't want to regen your shield, especially if you're using Hide of Terra. Really bad, don't do this. And then, like the Wind is just kind of underwhelming as well. It's not bad. You could take it over like be like water, I suppose, if you want. Like shooting increases melee attacks, but there's a lot of times where you're going to be shooting the grog, hitting, shooting the grog, hitting. So I actually find that I get more use out of this than like the Wind, but it's not terrible. And then over here, nothing's super important here other than Bore and Velocity is what I'll go over. Bore's just awesome. The ability to one-shot certain bosses and enemies like spider tanks, bar tanks, Saturn. I mean, really, you can bore anything. It's a good skill. And then Velocity is sort of a preference. I like it in particular I think it makes it easier to slag with like the Grog nozzle that has a bit of a slow projectile. It increases that bullet speed. It helps with rocket launchers. The bullet speed really helps them. And of course, the critical hit and gun damage doesn't hurt. A lot of people don't take this one though. You could reinvest those points to like the Wind. I mean, precision. I've even seen some people go fearless. I personally am not a fan of that, but whatever you want, guys. I mean, it's fine. There's a little bit of versatility with that, but I think Melee Zero is pretty static in terms of how you build him. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. And we'll go ahead and get into the gameplay. All right, we are back. Southpaw, one of the assassins wasn't spawning, one Ione, whatever you want to call it, and it was making it literally impossible to progress. So yeah, we just came here. Let's see. So a quick little tip. If you aim in while you press deception, it cancels the animation. And another tip with the love thumper, you have to be extremely careful of barrels. You do those large explosions, so yeah, be really mindful of that. trying to watch out for barrels. I really don't want to die. But there was one right there. As soon as I jumped, I realized that. Oh man. I will say I honestly do not like the Love Thumper compared to the Hide of Terra at all. I think I would actually rather use the Hide of Terra 10 times out of 10. I cannot stand having to monitor the barrels like this because of the explosions. You have to be so mindful of it. Oh man, you gotta be joking. That wasn't a barrel. That was just me being a little stupid. But I'll get up. Ugh, rough start. Gotta watch out for those barrels though, nonetheless. Okay. Oh no, not gonna be able to do anything. It's a little bit difficult to melee these hot loaders too because they will explode on you. I'll try to make sure that I kill them from the front rather than the back. How has he not destroyed my shield? Oh, well, there we go. I ask and I will receive. Ideally, I probably should have slagged him first, because now I'm not going to deal as much damage. Like, it would have been a one-hit kill execute, and now he knocked me away. It makes it worse. Yeah, that's annoying, but we'll get him. Yeah, ideally, you want to slag those big bad guys before you go in for the execute. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. Trying to circle around them so he doesn't slap me away, but he's literally tracking my movement, like pinpoint. That's very interesting. Just snapping on a dime. Alright, let's get rid of barrels. See another one. Really hate them. Alright, exploders. Just let them do their thing. And it can be a good idea to shoot early and end your deception if you have some downtime and you know some enemies are coming soon, but not immediately. Because now I have it, where I wouldn't have had it before. Nice. Pretty easy to deal with exploders with melee Zer0. I mean, it's really not that hard in any character, but especially easy here. Finish him off. Don't have kunai, but won't be a problem really. Let's see what we have. We fucked that up, unfortunately. Yes, we did. Yeah. I wanted to get him slagged, so I tried to play it a little greedy there, but... There we go. Continue. Let's see. Probably gonna need to destroy a bunch of barrels in here. I don't really know where all of them are. See one there. Trying to throw them on there. Ooh, I saw that barrel. Played it greedy. Didn't think I would blow it up. I was correct, but probably not the best idea. Alright, just trying to get rid of barrels. Hot loaders we have to be careful of too. Hopefully kunai will just kill him. Yeah, I would prefer that. Oh, wow. Alright, sometimes you might just want to reset. I'm kind of too deep here. I don't have my left thumper active. Oh man. Don't have it active again. But we'll break it this time. Yeah, I definitely feel noticeably less survivable with this build. With the left thumper, that is. It can actually be a good thing to have your shield sometimes. The shield stripping strategy it's sort of a double-edged sword. Like, it can be good to occasionally have your shield up and have to strip it. It increases your overall survivability. Obviously, there's benefits to both, but I feel like I am dying much more often with... I mean, I'm not dying, but going down much more often, I should say, with the love thumper. But nonetheless, it'll work. Get rid of that, please. I see another. Alright, not bad. Kunai is a great way to recharge your health. Oh, I messed that up. Not too bad. But we're out of here. Okay. Interested to see how this boss Hurley is gonna go. I don't want to hit him in the back. I'd rather, yeah, I just want to kill him to kunai. I don't want to end up killing myself on the back of him. I'd say that's the biggest distinct advantage you have with the Love Thumper is that you're constantly getting the Void Shield bonus from kunai, which you normally would not have with the Hide of Terror. You would have to expend grenades to allow that to happen. Even with that being said, I prefer the Hide of Terror. Okay. Need him to come down. Can't really do anything until he does. Where is he? Oh. I'm not on the UCP. I'm not used to cutscenes. I'm used to skipping them. I don't know if I'm going to have Deception. I may just instantly die. We'll see. Nice. Oh, that was easy. I'm not sure how he is on... I think they actually buff Hurley on the UCP. He's actually harder to kill. He takes much longer. That was like an insta-kill. But hey, at least we got to test it on a boss. I was really hoping to do Southpaw. I think it's like one of the premier testing options for any character. It has such a great mix of enemies, different types, and mini bosses really help, and different kind of room environments as well. I think it's just great. It's one of my favorite maps in the game anyway. Whoa. Got a little ahead of myself. They'll just die to kunai, and that is it, guys. Yeah, so I wanted to show a build with the Love Thumper instead of Melee Zer0, and I also covered some of his general mechanics and gameplay and things like that because I felt it would be useful to you guys. So yeah, I think all in all, Love Thumper, viable, but barrels. Be very wary of barrels. Barrels are not your friend at all. So be very mindful of the barrels, but other than that, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. Totally fine. I think it just triggers me because I kept killing myself with the barrels on and off the screen. I like the Hide of the Terra a little bit better because you're not going to be doing that as much. And the gameplay loop of the Height of Terra can be frustrating, but also satisfying when you properly pull off the strips and the executions. It has way more damage potential, but in an environment like this, guys, the Love Thumper wins, I think, as long as you're wary of barrels. Purely because the Height of Terra is more so meant for massive burst damage on very tanky targets, which is why I absolutely love it in the peak. And if you're ever going to raid as Melee Zero, you have to use the Height of Terra. There's just no way. You're not going to deal enough damage. So yeah, I think that's kind of where I stand with it. Both are viable, but I think in sort of just different scenarios. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.